What if everything you think you know about your mind is a lie? Your sense of self, your memories, even your choices, are they real, or just illusions created by your brain? Today, 5 experts dive into the question that has puzzled humanity for centuries: is consciousness real, or is it nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion? Consciousness is one of the biggest mysteries in science and philosophy. Some experts say it's what makes us truly human, while others argue it's just a trick our brain plays on us. But what does that really mean? Dr. Anil Seth, a leading neuroscientist, explains that our brain doesn't just receive reality, it creates it. Every thought, every feeling, even your sense of being, you, is built by your mind. In this sense, consciousness might not be something you have, but something you experience. Think about a dream. While you're dreaming, the world feels real. You see, hear, and even touch things, but none of it exists outside your mind. Seth suggests that our waking life might work the same way. Our brain constantly predicts and constructs reality, giving us the illusion of a stable world and a separate self. Philosophers like Daniel Dennett take this idea further. They argue that you are not a single, continuous self, but a collection of thoughts, memories, and perceptions. Some experts even suggest that recognizing this illusion can transform life. By understanding that the self is not fixed, we can let go of limiting beliefs, reduce fear, and experience moments of true presence. In other words, seeing consciousness for what it is may not just answer a question, it could change how we live entirely. While neuroscientists focus on the brain's role in creating consciousness, other experts explore it from a more philosophical angle. Dr. David Chalmers, a well-known philosopher of mind, asks a question that challenges everything we think we know: why does consciousness exist at all? Chalmers calls this the hard problem of consciousness. Even if we understand every neuron and brain process, we still don't know why these processes give rise to subjective experience, why there is something it feels like to be you. It's as if the universe not only exists but also watches itself through your mind. To visualize this, imagine a robot that perfectly mimics human behavior. It can talk, react, and even seem emotional. But would it truly feel anything inside? That's the gap between physical processes and conscious experience. We can see the mechanisms, but the experience itself remains a mystery. Some scientists argue that consciousness might not be confined to the brain at all. Theorists like Rupert Sheldrake suggest that it could be a fundamental aspect of the universe, woven into the fabric of reality itself. Like radio waves that exist all around us, consciousness could be all around, and our brains act like receivers, tuning into it. If that's true, then what we experience as our mind could just be a small glimpse of a much larger, universal consciousness. Even spiritual teachings hint at this idea. Next, we turn to Dr. Anya Gupta, a cognitive scientist who studies how perception shapes reality. She explains that our brains are prediction machines. Every moment, your mind guesses what will happen next and fills in gaps in your perception. This means that what you see, hear, or feel isn't a direct copy of reality, it's a constructed version based on past experiences and expectations. In other words, your consciousness is constantly creating a story that feels real, even if it doesn't perfectly match the world around you. Gupta gives a striking example: optical illusions. Your brain fills in missing information to create a complete image, convincing you of something that isn't really there. But it's not just vision, our memories and emotions are shaped the same way. Think about recalling a past event. Each time you remember it, your brain can change details without you even noticing. What feels like a fixed memory may actually be a reconstruction. She also points to a simple everyday experience. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? Your brain predicted your actions based on habit, and when something unexpected happened, it lost track. This shows how deeply our minds rely on constructed patterns, often without our awareness. If our eyes, memory, and senses can be tricked so easily, it raises a bigger question: could our entire experience of reality, including the sense of self, also be an elaborate illusion? According to Gupta, consciousness might be less about observing reality and more about creating a personal, predictive model that feels real. Now, let's explore the perspective of Dr. Lisa Moreno, a quantum physicist who studies the relationship between consciousness and the universe. Moreno suggests that consciousness might not just be a product of the brain, it could be fundamental to reality itself. In quantum experiments, particles behave differently depending on whether they are being observed. Moreno compares it to flipping a coin in a completely dark room. You can't know the outcome until you look. But at the quantum level, looking doesn't just reveal the result, it helps determine it. This raises a mind-bending possibility: consciousness and reality might be inseparable. She gives another analogy: imagine a painter and a canvas. Without the painter, the canvas is blank. But without the canvas, the painter has no medium. In the same way, consciousness may both shape and be shaped by reality. It's not just a passive witness, it's part of the universe's ongoing creation. Moreno points out that this idea isn't entirely new. Many spiritual traditions describe the world as an interplay between mind and matter. Finally, we turn to Dr. Maya Reynolds, a consciousness researcher who studies the connection between mind and experience. Reynolds emphasizes that consciousness might be less about what we have and more about what we perceive. She explains that our sense of reality is deeply personal. Two people can experience the same event but perceive it completely differently. This shows that consciousness isn't just observing the world, it's shaping it from within. Reynolds also explores altered states of consciousness, like meditation, lucid dreaming, or near-death experiences. In these states, people report dissolving the boundaries of self, feeling at one with everything. According to her, these experiences suggest that the self is not fixed but fluid, and consciousness is more like a river flowing through different forms rather than a solid object inside. So, is consciousness real, or is it an elaborate illusion crafted by our minds, or even by the universe itself? 5 experts, from neuroscience to quantum physics, offer perspectives that challenge everything you thought you knew. But here's the twist: even after all these insights, the truth may be beyond what any of us can fully grasp. What if the very act of trying to define consciousness changes it? What if your mind is both the key and the mystery? And if that's the case, what else in your reality might be just as fluid,